And here we are for the pre-show hangout. Hello, everybody. This is Nate. You've probably not seen Nate before. He is our guest DM for tonight. Nathan Crowder is a local Seattle author and game designer and game runner and all-around professional geek, and we are happy to have him. So, yeah, we were just talking about killing people with dice. I mean, damaging people with dice. I mean, oh shit.
Well, specifically D4s are dangerous.
Yes.
Do caltrops do a D4 of damage in D&D? Because if they don't, I feel like that's missing an opportunity.
I can't quite remember if it's D4 or just 1 damage. I know that in 5th edition, there's like some bonkers rule about them that like theoretically they could like stop a Tarrasque in its tracks. There's something about the wording of it that makes it apply and makes it so that like they have to use like a legendary resist to resist it or something.
Oh my god, that's a huge game exploit.
Yo, if our viewers ever end up summoning a Tarrasque, like I'm gonna go buy like hundreds of caltrops and just like fill Westgate with it. I'm ready.
Would it be giant bag of marbles? Just toss those out.
Yeah.
or just Legos. Tons of Legos might be cheaper.
That's right. I always think about
you have to get them transported in from this plane to that plane, because I don't think they have Legos in the Forgotten Realms.
But what if we like invented Legos? What if we...
Tarrasque is rampaging. We need to create a platonically perfect thing that hurt its foot. What could that be?
You know, it makes as much sense as building Jaegers to stop
kaiju.
Kaiju.
Yeah, no, totally.
And then Mirabelle starts playing with them, and you.
Oh yeah, goodbye,
Dollar
Stong.
sign eyes.
You'll just see Stong like knocked out on the floor of his apartment all the time. Legos just like in the heels of his feet, or just filled with Legos.
Oh come on!
Did you see that they have
Lego.
that Lego tape now that you can run on the walls and stuff to affix Legos to your wall? And
yeah, it looks super fun. I sent it to my friend's kids who are obsessed with Legos, so I'm sure my friend will be having a terrible time for the next couple of months.
They need to do that reality show again. That was the Lego building competition.
Cool.
Oh yeah, that was rad.
Oh wow, yeah.
It was heartbreaking for me. It was heartbreaking seeing some of those people get kicked off, and more so than some of the other shows.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Which one?
I don't even remember the name of it.
Lego Masters.
That's
Lego
Masters.
Lego Masters, yeah.
Like simultaneously, I tell my son like Legos are meant to be built, and then you take them apart and you can make something new, because I'm not going to buy every Lego set in existence. Yeah. And at the same time, when they smashed the Lego sets, I was like, no! Like, oh, you're out. Boom! Oh my god!
Well, so my guilty secret is that the Lego movie obviously came out when I was an adult, and I went and I watched the Lego movie. Might have been in the theaters. I was bored that weekend, and like I'm sitting there, and I'm like, as a child, I was the father. Like it went on and on. I'm like, yeah, I was really the father, like a lot.
That's nice. Right there.
That is my son's natural tendency. Like our mantle fills up with Lego creations that are just like, they must stay there forever. And it's like, okay, but there's only one mantle. And so you're going to have to decide which thing you're done with, even if it's super cool. But don't pick that one. I love that one.
When I would get on my younger sister's case for cross-pollination, she'd have like the Fisher-Price little people like in the Playmobil village, and I would be like, no, the scale is totally different. You can't have a My Little Pony come to the Playmobil town. So.
Oh my goodness.
Did any of you use Lego for playing role-playing games?
I didn't play role-playing games until I was an adult.
No.
I know you didn't, Aaron, yes.
Nobody told me how fun it was. Bastards.
As I recall, Aaron, you didn't start playing D&D or any role-playing game until you started working at Wizards, and that was during 4th edition.
I played one game with 3.5 with some other people, and I had no idea what I was doing. But I actually, when I started playing at Wizards, I started playing a 3.5 Eberron game because 4th was being developed.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense.
I am definitely more comfortable in 4th, and I'm not ashamed to admit that. Because by the time I played 3rd, 3.5, it was a lot to jump into.
It was a little bloated towards the end there.
A bit. Like several shelves of my shelves back here are just 3.5 books.
Son, back in my day.
Wait. We have an official channel term for this now.
Oh no!
Ever since last week.
What?
I think it's in olden times.
Oh no!
Olden times, that's right.
In olden times, let me tell you about Thaco, my son.
Oh my goodness.
I remember the monster manuals came in these huge, you get the pages and they went into these huge binders for the 2nd edition. And it was like a bookshelf full of content, and that was just monsters. It was madness.
I mean, that sounds awesome.
It was, and the nice thing about them being in binders is you can just pull them out and have them ready for you. But then keeping it organized was its own job. It was rough.
I mean, better binders full of monsters than binders full of women. I can't remember who made that reference, but that was a terrible quote.
Wasn't that Romney?
Mitt Romney, that's right.
Romney.
Never forget, internet. Never forget, like I just did. Man, maybe we should do like a special where we play
Eric showing off his old books.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Well, I was showing off my old Dragon magazines the other night, so.
Maybe we should play an older edition as a special some night, like a one-shot first edition, one-shot second edition.
Because you want to hear Aaron scream about it.
Thaco.
I mean, I would.
Like, what is this Thaco garbage?
Yeah, what is this madness?
I
Burn it
still
all.
have
I have
my
no nostalgia because I didn't do it. So
player's handbook, actually literally on the shelf over here, because I'm like, oh no, it's where I usually am not, but I'm at my parents' house, and that's here in deep storage.
With encumbrance.
The thieves start with all the different skills, like pickpocketing. You start off as a first level, and you have like a 10% chance of success.
Right. They're noted as
level. It goes up a certain amount of percent.
Yeah, the
you
percentile tables.
Percentile dice.
Yeah.
See if you succeeded.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, you went up a rogue level. No, you went up a thief level. What skills would you like to add your like 30 percentage points to?
Oh.
You have these 8 skills. Go ahead and pick.
What edition was that?
2nd edition?
Yeah.
Oh.
I believe 2nd edition also had weapon speeds.
Yep.
First edition, it was just set. Just had, there was no allotting. You just got this much for picking locks, this much for stealth, this much for hiding, this much. And there was a difference. There was move silently and hide in shadows. So you had 2 roles to succeed in if you wanted to be sneaky.
Also, if you wanted to play your elf, you were playing an elf.
Yeah, or a dwarf.
You were playing
a
an
dwarf.
elf warrior or an elf wizard. You were playing an elf. Elf was a class back in the day. So
the first character I ever rolled up was a dwarf paladin, which was completely against the rules. But the person with the books didn't know and didn't care, and we played for like about 3 hours on his stoop out in front of his house, and the next day we ran into some other people who were playing the game and found out, and they were incensed. Like, how dare you?
You're having fun wrong.
You're having fun wrong. This imaginary thing that was totally made up is you're doing it wrong. Yeah, okay.
You're just mad you didn't think of it first, bud.
Yeah,
that's right.
Long-time campaign was in 2nd edition, and most of us, okay, no, that's not true. Half of us were not cheating. The other half were definitely cheating. The elf ranger who made up rage, I attack with rage, like I'm really angry, so I attack with rage, does double damage. We're like, yeah, that makes sense, sure, whatever.
Yeah.
And then the guy who was like, I'm playing a half giant. And we're like, what? And it's like, yeah, that's a thing from Athos, from Dark Sun. It's like,
yeah,
we're a Forgotten Realms game, man. He's like, well, I just stumbled through a portal from Dark Sun. And then there was the leader or flag bearer of the party, who was the human fighter mage, which in 2nd edition you couldn't do. Humans can't multi-class in 2nd edition. So we were like,
God, I've forgotten about that.
How'd you make that work? He's like, I'm dual classed. We're like, no, you're not. He's like, yeah, I am. I'm
dual
totally
class
dual
versus
class.
multi-class. So stupid.
Not at all.
The only net runner in Westgate.
Yeah, that's right. I'm from the future.
Like, if you're a dual class, why do you keep getting better at fighting and casting spells? He's like, And
this supplement,
for some reason,
it's from Canada. You haven't got it yet.
Yeah.
For some reason, his character was always the same
exotic
level
land
as our
of Canada.
characters, and we're like, how did you make that work out? And he's like, oh, I go play at cons and stuff. We're like, with your character from our campaign?
So I just realized. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
These days reminds me so much of the kids I run D&D for. They're super cheaters.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. That comes with the territory.
Right?
Kids love D&D, but they hate rules, or they just
Well,
can't be bothered to remember them.
Most of us who started gaming when we were kids were super cheaters as well, whether we knew it or not. So
Guilty for sure.
I mean, you're
point,
so
I don't
focused
care.
on getting the best treasure and getting the cool things. And all. So
there was a time when thieves got experience for gold pieces that they recovered, which was why I always played thieves, because I would be like level 12 and everyone else was level 4. And they were like, wait, what's happening right now? And I'm like, don't worry, I still can only do like 2 points of damage with an attack. So
yeah, it only
fine.
makes you better at like leaving the party alone when they're fighting to steal more treasure.
Yeah, it makes you better at fleeing and hiding.
In olden times,
yes,
I recall there's sort of an end game, which because each level wasn't just a number; it was a title, and the sort of the end game was to get enough money together to build a fortress. And then it started becoming the sort of birthright thing of building your fortress and hiring staff.
Yeah,
it was like, oh, I guess I need a steward. I guess I should go out and raise some money and kill some monsters. So
I need to start taxing my serfs.
Yeah, it was a whole other thing, and that was one of my favorite parts of the game at that time. But it went away after first edition.
I feel like they've sort of tried to bring it back in later editions, but there hasn't been a module that I've seen that's been really popular.
Oh, there's a whole birthright game, which was fun as long as everyone was on the same page. But it wasn't. But if one person was like, I just want to go out and kill things, that ended up being the entire session. It's like, well, I've had my 2 turns to have some spearmen trained. I guess I'm going to sit here for another 3 hours and listen to this guy's adventures.
Man, I feel like that there's like something enjoyable about the kingdom running simulation, but only if like everybody is in on it somehow.
Yeah.
Although I don't know how you would share running a kingdom. That seems rather difficult. Hey, Eric, how about you give us a kingdom and we can find out?
Well, let's just scrap what we have going on tonight. And,
I mean, we're kind of making Westgate our kingdom. So
that is sort of true. I keep trying to thrust responsibility on you, and you keep going, no. I keep making my deck
if you wanted people who wanted to be responsible for things, that was a thing to tell us during setup, because I made the opposite.
Session 0, yeah.
That's right.
Exactly. The whole 0 lawful characters in the party. Yeah. Anyway.
But like, that sounds like a bad plan. You should find someone else to run things.
Speaking of characters, I just realized, it's been almost a month since I've played Rogar. Like I played cats for 2 weeks and then a fairy, or a pixie. So I was like, oh yeah, who's Rogar? Let me look at my character sheet.
I have actually contributed design to 2 kingdom-based games. One is Red Aegis, which is kind of a Age of Empires civilization sort of game.
Cool.
And then there's Seeds of Wars, which is also kind of a kingdom management. It's sort of inspired by Birthright.
Oh my god. I was hoping you were going to say it's like agricultural communities waging war against each other for like the price of turnips.
Okay.
Yes.
I would totally, I was definitely going like Bronze Age, like, beginnings of city state kind of thing. I was like, I would play the shit out of that. I don't know actually how that would work. But that's okay, because I'm not the mechanics person. So
yeah, that is exactly what Red Aegis is, though. It's played in 10 sessions. You have like a session 0, And then each session after that is an escalating age of your civilization, starting from like the Stone Age.
This is the one that Brian James and Matt James put together, right?
Right.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
I don't
created
know.
by
I
the
thought it was
James
Stardew.
brothers, who are huge Civilization fans.
I thought it was like Stardew, but with PvP. You can just permanently kill people and take over their farms and get bigger farms.
Oh my god.
But my father thinks that Stardew should be like my sister and I play it, and I was attempting to explain it to him, and he's like, so okay, but what next?
When can you kill the other townspeople?
So should I abandon my plans for season 2 of the Westgate Irregulars and just play like a Stardew and Star D&D? Stardew
Where we
and
have to have
I
a
would
farm.
be so much.
Westgate Valley?
I feel like that's right up Artemisia's alley.
Yeah,
It's
totally.
like the next step of household management. Farm management.
Well, and then you like pick the hottest guy in town, and then you figure out what
That's
presents
true.
he likes, and then you dance at the spring dance.
I mean, it seems like they-
I kept throwing all the hottest guys in Westgate at you, and you picked Lilton of all of them. So, I
I feel like that nicely establishes some character traits and flaws, though. Like very tight.
it really does.
I mean, when you have like regular hot guys and like face melting hot, like, I mean, which are you gonna pick?
Celebrity suggested Gaston. I don't know why. But
I mean, like, so what are they called? The three. There's a name for the three women in Beauty and the Beast, the original animated one. That's Sai over Gaston. They're the three something.
Wait, I remember that.
It's from like TV tropes.
Ah,
Anyway,
now I-
chat will know. Somebody in chat will know.
someone in chat
there
will
is
know.
a lot
Probably
of one of
Silverine will
those in
know.
Artemisia. But if one of those was like hit with a protagonist stick,
Who do you romance in Stardew Valley?
I haven't
Good
romanced
question.
anybody yet. I'm making lots of money.
But
Oh,
who do you have
man.
your eye on?
Oh, I mean, first of all, you romance everybody because you get all the cutscenes, but
True.
eventually
And
you zero
perks.
in on.
Let's see. The one with the hair. I mean, obviously.
Alex?
The one with the
Elliot?
hair, yeah.
I think Elliot.
The author. The author
Yes,
that lives by
yes.
the beach.
Yes, him.
It checks out.
Oh, the blonde.
Sounds romantic.
Got like the Fabio chin. 100% go for Sebastian because
Which one's Sebastian?
he wants to leave, and I don't know why. But every time I play one of these farming simulator games, I always end up gravitating towards the artistic one that wants to leave, and I'm like, nope, you're gonna stay here with me.
You convinced him.
You just think you're gonna leave,
Power
but here's a
trip.
diamond.
No, that or maybe I like slightly trashy arty goth boys. He's the one with the motorcycle that smokes,
Aaron.
but then he quits smoking so that he can help you on your farm.
You could do better, Aaron.
Nobody knows him like I do. I
No,
can
but
change
Clementine,
him.
my farmer, can't.
Meyer Doug said the three Bimbettes.
Ah,
Oh.
okay.
Bimbets.
Thank you,
Oh,
chat.
wow,
Anybody
okay.
else play Stardew Valley? Because I am genuinely interested in this question.
I have not
I
played
do.
Stardew Valley.
All right, who do you romance?
Excuse me, dog barking.
Abigail.
She's adorable.
Yeah. Ever since I saw that cutscene where she was like playing music in the dead of night out by the pond, I was like, yes. And then I found out she liked video games. So it was like, seal
There you go.
the deal.
I've never done Stardew Valley, although I did play Dream Daddy for a while. So
Oh,
that
Dream
was,
Daddy.
that was my nice little break from Civ 6.
It is a relaxing game, but it's also a game I feel very comfortable walking away from for quite a while, and then coming back and being like, "Oh, that's right."
Yeah, the sister and I play it every week, but we can't remember like what our goal was. Because as I say, like we're not doing a lot of romance, we're doing a lot of like farm improvement.
Mhm.
So we'll have a goal that's like, okay, we need enough wood for the windmill. And then like a week
Yeah.
later, we're like, wood? No, stone. What? Well, I
Why do
guess
we have so
better
much
water.
wood?
Yeah. Yeah. I play basically the same way. Make a bunch of money, but I also try to just romance Abigail. I toss her like 2 presents a week or whatever it is. I think that's the max.
That's romance.
I enjoy when you go try to give them the third president. It's like, that's enough.
Yeah, I won't like you anymore this
The
week.
game is like, the game steps in and goes, no, don't look desperate.
Stop being so thirsty. Yeah.
We put a diamond in our whatever it is that like just makes whatever you put in it. So like every few days, every few days we have another diamond, so we can just like give diamonds to everybody.
Oh, very nice, very nice.
A friend of mine once told me that he gave up on Mass Effect because he realized he was playing it as a dating sim. Like he wasn't aware of doing that, but then he realized it and he's like, no, this game has no other interest for me.
Like, that's
say that really like it's a bad thing?
No, it's not.
Yeah, they're playing it right.
That's why I did Dragon Age. Like everybody talks about like Dragon Age 2, where the sort of plot arc is not great. And I'm like, yeah, but people and like conversations and romance. Who cares about the plot arc?
Yeah. Remember when Steven started playing Dragon Age? He's not here to defend himself.
See, I tell that story to like everybody that I've met who has played Dragon Age.
That's so funny.
Like we told him he would love this game, and he's like, oh yeah, okay. So he started playing it, and then like a month later we were like, hey, so how are you doing on Dragon Age? He's like, yeah, it's okay, I'm doing pretty well. And we're like, and I think it was Rhiannon who asked, so who are you romancing? And he's like, you can romance people in Dragon Age?
Yeah. Oh, Shino, I agree. Inquisition is the best of the Dragon Ages.
Yeah.
So I just downloaded Darkest Dungeon.
Yeah, that's right. No romance in that game.
Looking forward.
Well, depending on how you look at it.
When do we get screenshots, Eric?
I did just a little reading about it. It sounds like there's a touch of Cthulhu in it, with like people going crazy. And
there's more than a touch of Cthulhu in it.
Hey, Steven, I saw so Dragon Magazine came out with they're starting to put NPC characters in that you can download and stuff. And of the three this week, there was one that was basically like a witch who had a cauldron with feet on it, and she was an alchemist, making potions and stuff. And I was like, totally reminded me of your character from last week. I was like, oh, that's
fun. I love hags.
That was close.
Oh, yeah. Why do they call her Sweet Betsy?
Like why they call it a honey bucket.
Why do they call it a I know.
I was listening
that is the perfect
I was listening to the episode and I'm like, Sweet Betsy must have a coven, right? So who else is in this coven? Like Craven Kate and
it would be like Tart Tanya
Tabitha
and Spicy Sandra or something.
Distracted Debbie.
Sweet Betsy and Sour Sonia.
Yeah. So speaking of like witches and hags, I was reading some of the UA stuff from Von Richten's, and I saw they had this new race called the Hexblood. It looks. Have you seen these UA races? They're the first ones that your character can actually turn into over the course of their adventure, rather than start with.
Ah.
Yeah, and they have the.
And one of them was a child of hags or something like that.
Yeah, the Hexblood.
Oh, that's the Hexblood.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, then they had the Dampier, and I can't remember the last one right now, but I think it's like the Undying, like the resurrected.
The construct, like Frankenstein's monster.
Yeah. It's kind of neat.
Yeah, super cool.
Yeah, so anyway, in my Darkest Dungeon game, obviously my Plague Doctor is named Sturge.
Oh, yeah.
My main Crusader is named Adrian Corbetto. He has not gone insane yet, which is good. He was originally a kleptomaniac, but I beat that out of him, so...
I have that out of him, huh?
I have a grave robber named Ilra. I have a hellion named Shay. I have an abomination named Stong. I thought that was appropriate.
Yeah.
The abomination changes shape into various monsters, much like Stong does.
Yeah.
And Artemisia and Cecilia don't really map onto the characters all that well. Like they're both just
too unique.
female magic users, right? And that's not really necessarily a thing in Darkest Dungeon, but the closest mechanically are the Vestals. So who are basically like female paladin cleric types.
Are they virgins?
I was gonna say
none of that nonsense.
No, that kind of thing isn't a thing in Darkest Dungeon, so don't worry. But they have different skill sets.
Ooh,
like,
our viewers bring up a good
more
point though,
blasty
Eric.
than the other, so.
Eric, our viewers bring up a good point. If any of these characters die, what are you going to do?
Well, that's the point of Darkest Dungeon, isn't it? To get
Yes,
attached to your characters and then feel crushed when they die or go insane and
except
then
you're doing it with our characters, so what happens?
I have a antiquarian named Mirren.
That didn't really answer the question. Yeah,
my highwayman is named Kalen, so I'm using my own characters too.
You dodged, man. You dodged.
Luckily for you, we have to go to the recap. But we're gonna keep asking this.
Saved by the bell.
Yep. See y'all in a few minutes.
All right. Don't go away.